Welcome, fellow marketers, small business owners, entrepreneurs, and other students that are trying to learn more about social media marketing. My name is Benjamin Kepner. I'm the CEO of Global Social Media Marketing, and today we're going to be talking about how to do a Facebook marketing plan. Facebook marketing plan is something that you should normally use in the beginning of any type of effort that you're going to invest into social media marketing. I see a lot of small business owners, marketing people, other companies, they don't spend the time to create a Facebook marketing plan. And the reason that we want to do this is it's kind of like when we write a marketing plan for our overall company, right? We wouldn't want to go ahead and dive in and start executing on marketing campaigns without knowing our audience, understanding what our competitors are doing, how the marketplace looks on social media, what types of content. There's a lot of different things that we're going to kind of discuss in today's video. But, I think the important thing to understand here, and this is something that we do at Global Social Media Marketing, is we start every client with a plan. And the plan will be something where they'll learn a lot of information. It will create really good conversation with the business owner. And then we can really laser focus on what makes sense for that platform. There's so many things that we can do on a platform, and we really need to have a more strategic direction and plan on how we're going to execute that. So at Global Social Media Marketing, we've actually created a social media marketing template for all of our different channels. And today we're going to do this specifically for Facebook. So for today's example, we're going to be show an example of one of our current clients that we just onboarded this week. It's a senior health insurance agent by the name of Heath. We've got a picture right up here of Heath. He works for U.S. Health Advisors. They sell health insurance plans all over America. Heath specifically can sell health insurance coverage to 28 different states, but he's based in Colorado. So when we're creating a Facebook plan, we obviously want to know our audience, right? So for Heath specifically, we might do a focus on the Colorado market to begin with because he's based in Colorado, but he's also relayed to us as a client that he does business in Florida, and he travels to the north, and he really would like to be in all those states. So we want to keep that in mind. So when we look at a Facebook marketing plan, if you look at our template, we've already got some things in place. And for today's purpose, because we're creating a new Facebook page for Heath, I'm going to kind of pull up our Facebook page and kind of go back and forth. So I'm going to kind of keep this open of our page, and I'm going to keep the marketing plan open and kind of do these simultaneously, right? So when we look at a Facebook page, right, if we have it, great. We want to look and we want to kind of optimize it, do an audit of it, make sure it's right. If we're creating something from scratch, we want to kind of make a plan or a template like we have here. So for Heath, we're going to be creating one from scratch. He just has a personal Facebook. He doesn't have a page. First thing we would want to do if we're using Global as an example, if we were filling this out for Heath, right, we want to make sure that we have an image. Now with Facebook, they've got this kind of circular look. They've kind of made that similar to Instagram. So we want to make sure that our image fits in that size. Next thing we want to make sure is that we've got our brand. So for Heath's case, right, we might put his name followed by U.S. Health Advisors so that people know that he's an agent. And then we actually have when people search for our username. So this would be like the page name, and this is the username. What's important for the username is that when we go to the top bar here, right, we want to be able to find, when we search for something, it's very similar to Google, right? If we have that exact word. So if we typed in Global Social Media Marketing and we searched, we want ours to come up as the first result, right? So luckily for us, we do. If we were looking for pages, we could also click on pages, right? There we are again as the number one search result. Why is Global coming up as search results? What was our trick that we did? If you see this little gray checkbox marks, our Facebook page is verified. I did another training video that we will link to this video on how to do that. There are two different types of Facebook verifications that you can go through, but just know that ultimately having a verified Facebook page, the main benefit of it is that it will help you in search results when someone is searching for the name or your business in the search bar. The other added benefit is that it gives social proof, right? Consumers will trust a page that is more verified, it's got these kind of gray blue check boxes versus maybe something that doesn't have that, right? It's adding another layer of credibility. It's like a verification if you were getting a business document verified or signed or something like that. It's kind of that proof of approval. So with that being said, if we go back to the global page, next thing you want to kind of look at when you're doing a Facebook plan, you want to make sure that you have a cover photo, right? So for Heath, maybe there might be something here like there's a, call us for a free quote, or maybe there's a picture of Heath in front of his office smiling and his different types of insurance plans that he offers. Maybe there's a call to action, right? And then that kind of gets into the button down here. The button has different things that we can do. If you click on edit here, we can have people contact us. We could drive them to our website so they could learn more about our business. Maybe if they were in e-commerce or they were a retail product, we could literally sell our products directly through our Facebook page. If we were a mobile app company, we could encourage people to download our app. Or if we're Heath, maybe we want to set up a phone call, right? Maybe we're an insurance agent. Being an insurance agent, it's definitely a relationship-based industry where you're going to search online for prices, but then ultimately you're going to want to talk to someone, right? You're going to want to consult with them. Heath is very good at that. He actually even gives presentations where he goes to chambers of commerce and networking groups and then has follow-up calls with them on guiding them on the right health insurance plan based upon where they are. So, leverage all of your space here, right? Even looking at global, while this image might be kind of cool looking or it's kind of spilling to our space image, it would be really nice maybe in the future if our Facebook page had something like contact us now for our services, and we had a list of our services and we had our email there, or we had our phone number. That adds another opportunity to kind of engage, right? That's one thing that social media is very effective at, is engaging people with content. So why not make your cover page and your logo engaging, creative, and optimized? Next thing we would look at when we're looking at a page, right, is we've got all of these tabs. So if we're filling out this for Heath, we're doing one, we want to make sure if we scroll down here on our template, we've got a little section here. I'll move this over. So we can see the tabs right here on the left. I've already got them built out, right? If we look at global, so we want to kind of click in homepage. It's where we're at. It's the main page where we see all of our feed. We might start looking at recent posts, right? So for global, we've got our content. For Heath, maybe on the homepage, we're starting to see if he's creating a page from scratch. We're kind of suggesting on your homepage, hey, you need to start creating content. You need to start showing different types of posts, images, videos. Maybe there's an article or something shared, right? We might even go to the corporate page of US Health Advisors. This is a good example, right? So Heath doesn't have a page, but because he's a part of a corporate entity, US Health does have a page, right? We can kind of see what they're doing. Guy sitting in front of his computer. Don't know if that really would connect as well. Again, maybe use that space for something else to drive a call to action, but we can see they've got a good following. We can kind of look at their content on their homepage, right? They're talking about health benefits. They're playing on the holidays. That's something you see very common in social media. You see all these random holidays that people are creating hashtags around. We might see that, there's a login, right? They're promoting people to go check in, register on their website, view their health insurance cards, do everything that you would need to get your health insurance plan. They're talking about different consumer reports on how to protect yourself in the sun during the summer for your health, things like that, right? So we're getting a good idea right now of, within health insurance, what is the type of content that Keith can put out, right? And another thing we could look at, if we went back to global, our tabs are a little bit more built out, as we could literally click on the post. It's just another way to go see the homepage, but we're not really going to see everything else, right? We're going to see visitor posts where we might need to reply to those. If we're the Facebook manager, we're also going to just be kind of just seeing our exact post. We can kind of laser in. Maybe there's something about jobs. Maybe Heath is looking to recruit a receptionist for his agency, or he's looking to hire a part-time assistant, or something like that. Maybe he's an agency owner and he wants another agent under his, his establishment. That might be a good place to put jobs. Heath, he presents a lot of his health insurance plans because he has to teach people. So here might be a really good example of creating some like local events, maybe that Heath sets up, right? It's got an image of Heath and his events. So we could kind of fill that information in the template and say, Heath's local events. We talked about his posts, which would be things like, health related content, talking about, the different insurance plans, health insurance plans. He might even connect in his content on just, general consumer things. If he's based in Colorado, maybe there's something about, how to improve your health in Colorado, right? Make it more relative. We might do some salesy stuff like, get a free quote. If he's won any awards, if he's in any networking groups, maybe he's taking a picture when he's at the group event. Category, you would see that under settings. You're not going to see that here on the left. So I'm going to kind of just continue through the tabs. We can get reviews, right? Reviews are really good in service-based industries. So for someone like Keith, it would make a lot of sense, take his existing customers that he has, his really good ones, send him an email, say, hey, I just created a Facebook page. I'm trying to get some traction. It's a brand new page. I would love if you could leave me a review. Funny thing about Facebook reviews is that they are actually ranked in search results as one of the top SEO results for reviews. The name, right? So we would want to make sure that Heath is relative. People can find his name. Maybe we have an offer, right, on the left-hand side here. We could kind of go into more about our page, right? So if we go and we click into the about section, this is kind of where we're getting more granular with like the business information, right? So we want to make sure that this is all filled in. When we go to the about section, do we know, what our phone number is? Do we know what our address is of our, company office? Go back in here, we can see our name again, right? We've got directions, phone number, our address. We've got our category, right? So for Heath, in his category in this section, we might look for either like insurance agency. We might see if there's something for health insurance. That's just something you're going to have to play with in Facebook, right? See what's available. Make it as most relative as you can to your industry. Scroll down, you can put your hours. So maybe Heath, he only works from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. That's pretty normal in the normal business world. So maybe we would put that in. We can also talk about when we were founded. Do we have some parking information, right? Do we have parking available? Do we sell goods? Do we sell services? What's our mission? I think that's very good to connect with consumers. So again, in here, do we have a parking space? Do we have any more like info about our business? Things like, our company mission, company values, things like that, so people that can understand a little bit more about our company. And then we can go with our contact info in there too, right? So we definitely want to have that. That's super important. Not only if somebody goes to our Facebook page, can they now contact us, but now we're increasing our SEO results. So contact info, we definitely want to have our website, phone, email, those types of things. We can get more about into the company overview and the about in our products. Did we win any awards? Things like that. If we were a restaurant, maybe we have a menu. If we're in the heart of downtown, right, Global, we've got a co-working space. It's right next to the light rail in Denver. It's very convenient. If you want to hop on the train, we might include that. Maybe we put some directions there. We've got some keywords here at the bottom to kind of like classify it more, right? So for Heath, maybe it's a combination of like insurance agency with like health insurance and then like maybe health benefits or something like that. So now we've kind of filled all that in, and then there's a little story section in here. It's kind of a cool little feature that Facebook gives you. It's kind of like another little area of a cover photo and kind of explain, what we did is we explained about, how was it founded. I went into my story when I was at UGA and how this all came to be. I started blogging after I went to a personal blogging event, and the rest is history. And then I go into kind of talking about some of our services and things like that. So you want to fill all this information out, right? This is also going to help get your page verified, right? You need to, if you're going to get your page verified, Facebook's going to look at all of this. They're going to say, is this a really credible page? Do they have all of this information filled in? Think about it like your Facebook profile, right? They're going to ask you to fill all that information, and you want all that for your Facebook page too. On another note, when we're doing a Facebook marketing plan, if we're creating it from scratch, right, we're not going to really have, products or photos already created. So we might come up with those. If we're an established business like Global, right, we've already been doing social. We've got some different buckets that we can go into. We can go to our cover photos, timelines. We can click into those, see if there's any albums, and then we can kind of take a look, right? If we're doing if it's a new business or it's a business that's already existed and they've got content, we can kind of look and we can see all these different pictures. Are we properly tagging people, right? Here's a post of our digital marketing manager with Vashon. Look at that. Beautiful. He tagged Vashon so that we're getting that social reach. So when you go into a photo library, if you're an existing brand, we want to make sure that we've got the right tags, right? We've got the right places. If we clicked into another photo, as an example, we've got a picture here of the New Media Institute, but we don't have the location here. So we might come in here and now we're going and we're typing in the UGA New Media Institute, and bam, there we go. We've just added another layer to this photo now. So now we've tagged them, and now we've also got the location. This all comes back to SEO. And so when you do a photo, you should always think about on Facebook, I want my photos to have things such as a tag with the @ symbol. If it's another company page, right? We want to have a location if possible, right? Adding the geo, that's important. Why? For local SEO results so that we get found more. We also want to have copy. Maybe there's an emoji. Potentially there's a hashtag. I don't personally recommend using a lot of hashtags on Facebook because it's kind of just not as well used. There are hashtags on Facebook. So, if you're going to use them, I would say use the ones that are most common, right? We just looked at US Health Advisors as a great example. They did, some silly holiday out there like, National Egg Day or something like that. But that was a very common hashtag. So that's why they used that. And then, also people, right? There's an option in every photo to kind of go in and tag people. Are there people in this photo? Maybe, if there was a picture of a student in there, we might have tagged that student in this example. So for Heath, for his photos, maybe some really good ideas are, pictures with his customers. Maybe they're in his office, he tags them. Maybe there's some pictures of actually Heath, right? He's out in the field, he's giving a presentation. Maybe there's pictures of his insurance plans, right? So there's like a nice little PDF or something like that. Maybe there's just pictures of like families, think about health insurance, right? I mean, the main point is to make sure that you're taken care of. And I know, even I had a conversation with our CEO, Farron, the other day. There's a big difference between having insurance for your family and having insurance for your personal. So maybe there's a picture of a family and they're jumping for joy, or they're making a tough decision, with the insurance agent. Things like that, you can relate, and you got to get creative. So those are just some kind of ideas there. And so if we kind of close out of this on the tab, there's some other ones that we can do. About we already went over. Community is just kind of, in some cases that may make sense. In some cases it might not. It's kind of saying, hey, this is my community. Like I can see, my friends that have liked this page. If I had a group, right? So in Heath's case, maybe a really good example for that would be, if he had a group tab, he did something like, Colorado insurance agents. Maybe he makes like this exclusive group of other insurance agents, and they have a group where they can come to talk. Groups, are very engaging. Like, I mean, most people that are on Facebook, they're a part of one group, and it's not as so much self-promotion, right? A brand page can be very, buy my product, buy my service. A personal Facebook profile can be very, hey, look at my life, look how amazing it is and the things I'm doing. A group is kind of a common place, right? They're coming to a common interest. I'll give you a great example. My mother has a rare disease called Mel-Barton syndrome, where, she has vertigo and she's always rocking and she can't work. And so she goes to her Facebook group almost daily, if not every other day, and sees how people are dealing with her disease, right? I mean, she's almost using that as kind of a forum to communicate with other people that are dealing with that disease and figure out how to control that disease. So I think that's a great example. If you can find people that have similar interests, or if they have a similar problem and you can solve that through a group, it's going to get a lot of traction. The other thing about groups is that they can be, kind of more private, right? Instead of being so public with a page or your personal profile, you could go in and you could have an exclusive group. Only people that are in that group can see that content. You may have to be invited and get accepted in that group. I'm in, another example, I'm in a Facebook ad hack group where I literally had to say, hey, I have these examples of Facebook ad experience, and this is why I think I should be in the group. So I had to get actually approved to be in it. And now I'm in that group. So groups are really a good way to kind of build a very tight-knit community. And I see Facebook really going towards that in the future. That was a big thing that they talked about at their conference this year. So right here in the right-hand corner, after we've kind of looked at the homepage, right, we've gone through the tabs. These are all of the general settings. When you looked at general, the first thing you want to make sure, your page better be published, right? You want to make sure it's public. If you clicked on edit here, you can actually have a page unpublished. You could create it and no one could ever see it. So make sure it's published. The next thing is verified. We talked about that. There's another YouTube video that we'll link that explains how to do that. We can also control, if people want to post, right? Do we want someone posting on our page? Do we want to approve that process? That's a really nice thing about social media with things like Facebook and Instagram and all these other places. On Facebook, I can set my page for people to leave comments or leave reviews, but I have to approve them first. It's adding another layer. So maybe I'm preventing any trolls, any haters out there. It's just adding another layer to make sure that I'm actually, as the Facebook page manager, controlling what's being said on my page and making sure that I'm answering appropriately. I'm not telling you to delete them, people, or delete comments. My best practice with social media in general is be transparent, and sharing of stories. We can kind of talk about messages. Do I want, a message to be, message to me privately or not? Do I want to be able to tag people on our page? Some people are very private, right? We don't want people to do that. So that's why we can also kind of, set profanity. To be clear, there's a lot of privacy things with Facebook, so we want to be careful. We can restrict it if we want to show it in certain places. Do we want to have pages where we can show other, similar pages? If we're another, insurance provider, maybe there's another insurance magazine that we're related to. We can also do multiple languages, and we can translate. If we wanted to merge our pages, maybe we had two businesses, we could things in general. If we kind of click over into messages, one thing that's really unique that I think Facebook has also relayed in 2019 is that they're going to get a lot into AI, right? What it was saying. So my advice to you with the messaging for now in the short term, if you're creating in the beginning, keep it manual. Think of it like an email. If you get a direct message, right? I have a bunch of messages in here of people that, I've talked to and I'm replying to them. You can go in and you can message them. You can actually send automatic, the assistant, right, with the automated responses. That would be something I would use later on. Let's say no, and then maybe Heath has an automatic question of some qualifying questions that he needs to ask, page info. A lot of the stuff you already saw, what we talked about when we went on to the about section. That'll all be kind of edited here. And you can fill that information in. I'm not going to go into, heavy detail of that. Templates, which is what I was talking about, right? All those tabs that you saw on the left-hand side, the ones that we have are the default tabs because we have a business template. There are different types of templates that you can use, right? We could do it if we were a movie, if we were a professional service industry, if we were a music venue, if we're a nonprofit trying to save the world, or a politician, we're trying to get voters. Facebook has actually made all of these different types of templates that are specific to those industries. In my opinion, honestly, business is going to hold well, right? Most companies are actual businesses. So I would, general rule of thumb, I would recommend using that. Post attribution, this was something that they recently kind of changed. It's really just going to be found in that settings section, so we don't really need to go into that. Notifications, right? We don't have to get notifications, and that's one thing. I know, me personally, I'm connected to, I think, currently 130 Facebook pages, so it becomes a little much for me when I'm connected to that much. I don't need to know every single thing that's happening on a Facebook page. I can turn off and monitor these things. I can decide to get those notifications in a certain period of time. I could get them sent to my email. I could have them text message to me. This might make sense, for example, if you had like a call center. Messenger platform, we kind of already went into that. This is some more, going into the chats, the chat bots and stuff. I'm not going to get into that today on a very basic level, but there's a lot of things that they're doing with that. And I think if you're very serious Facebook page, or you're already well developed, you should do that. That's going to prevent, less time for you having to respond to people, and ultimately helping you sell more. You can set page roles on your Facebook page. That's something that I always note I've got it up here, right? So, in Heath's example, right, it's probably going to be me, Heath, our Facebook marketing manager, who's Vishon, right? That probably makes sense. So you can assign an actual page role. I'll show you an example, right? Here's our global page, right? You can see the different levels. So if we were going to go to Vishon and we wanted to change his role, right, we could change him to an editor where he could edit content, he could moderate it. Maybe we just want him running ad campaigns. You can add an advertiser. Maybe he's an analyst. Maybe we just give him access to our Facebook insights and data, and he's just doing that. Or maybe he's just a recruiter. Maybe he's an HR person. Maybe he's just managing the jobs. And to note, this is on the Facebook page level, right? So, one thing that you need to keep to note on this is that we're all going through how to do a Facebook marketing plan through your Facebook page. But if you go on the right-hand side here, you'll see a section that says Business Manager. And you can go and you can Google it and just type in Facebook Business Manager. Your steps when you create a new Facebook page, right? Global's already established. We've already done all this. In Heath's example, a great process is you're going to create the Facebook page first, right? Which is this little button here, or you can also see it up here. From there, you're going to need a business manager account. What a business manager account does is it ties your Facebook page to an actual business account. Think of it a business account like if you own Gmail, right? And you had a business and you had Gmail accounts. We use Gmail. We have business emails. We had to create a business email account so that we could have a business email address. Same type of concept. We need a business account for Facebook so we can have a Facebook page that's tied to that. The other thing that you'll see when you go in to a Facebook Business Manager account, we went into Global, right? We'll see our page, which will be located here, and you'll have to connect all of these things, right? So you'll connect the Facebook page, but then the next thing you'll do is you'll create the ad account. And I'm not going to go, into depth about the ads manager. We've already made some other videos in our training on Facebook this year on how to use ads manager and how to make ads. But just so that you understand the hierarchy of how things are organized, is the business manager account is going to be kind of your hub. It's kind of like, think of it as your parent company. And then within that, you're going to have your page and you're going to have your ad account, and everything will be tied to that. And this is kind of like you can access everything through this page. So just keep that in mind when you're setting up your Facebook marketing plan, that you need to have those different accounts, and you can watch our other videos on how to kind of build those out a little bit further. So if we go back to our page and filling out our plan, we've kind of talked about, the info, the different tabs. We've talked about going on the home page, right? We've done some initial stuff. There might be some other page tips right here. Obviously, they're going to give you some page tips if you're a brand new business. They're going to say, invite some of your friends, create a group, what types of posts are working. If we were auditing another business that already had a Facebook page, we would want to look at these metrics, right? How many likes does your page have? How many followers does your page have? How many people are you reaching? What's your response rate? How many people within your friends have liked it on your about? Is that information filled in? Can I see all this information? What other pages have we liked? That might make sense. I'll show an example here. Let's say U.S. Health Advisors, right? They're one of our clients. Let's say this was his page. As a business owner, we can actually like it as our page. So we can go and say like as your page. We'll have an option, and then we can select our Facebook page. So mine is a mess because I'm connected to so many pages, but somewhere in here is global, and then we could go and we can like that, and then that will actually show in that section on our page that I just showed you. So that's good too, because it adds kind of another layer of credibility, right? If we went to U.S. Health Advisors, right? Well and good, right? That makes sense. They're already talking about a wellness page. It's adding another layer of credibility. And then after I like that page, if I was trying to build a fan page from scratch, I would go say, hey, I just liked your page. Would you please like my page in return? And then you could put the name of the page, right? To create a better relationship with us. And then I could send that message, and then boom, maybe all of a sudden US Health Group has now liked Global, or it's liked Heath's page. So that's good too, right? Because if we've got companies that are liking our page, that adds another layer of credibility. And then guess what happens there? Let's say maybe we have created a connection with the social media manager, right? As we get into a more advanced Facebook strategy, we want to start to create Facebook partnerships, right? We want to partner with other Facebook pages. For Heath, for example, it would make perfect sense to partner with the corporate U.S. Health Group, right? Maybe one day Heath creates an awesome post, and he reaches out and he's like, "Could you share this?" Well, boom, that's 5,000 people that Heath can reach. So, a really good growth hack for all those people that are starting out creating a page is you will want to run a Facebook likes campaign, which we've created in another video that we'll also reference in this video. But you could go manually like this, and you could get some really big companies out there to like your page, and then you could try to see if you could create a relationship with them, right? Try to see if they can share your content. So I think that's important to kind of just keep thinking about, what types of layers. We want to go into our inbox, right? One thing here, you'll even see in Global's example, right? We need to kind of clean that up. We see that we've replied to the messages, but one thing that Facebook does that's kind of, I don't know why they do this, but until we reply to it and then we say mark is done, that notification is going to stay there. So we want to actually go in to all of our comments and messages, reply to them. Of course, because we love space, we're replying to her. We've replied, and then we mark as done. Now we're getting rid of all those notifications. That will actually affect your Facebook page response time, which ultimately affects your SEO results and your overall Facebook page. A good rule of thumb to do that is acknowledge it, take it to private, right? In this case, if Kim had been doing something that was, negative or something, I may have replied back, "Hey, Kim, we just sent you a direct message to handle your customer service issue," and then take it offline. There's no need to have a 20-long conversation on a public Facebook page. Take it offline, take it to an instant message, direct message here. And then another layer after that too is, right, maybe you need to escalate it to like your manager or the restaurant owner. You see that all the time. Move it to private, escalate it, and handle it, and just do that. That's good transparency, that's authenticity, and that's being a good business owner that's managing a business page. So clear out your inbox, page, manage jobs, notifications. These are all things that we've already kind of gone through. In this more section, we would see things such as like publishing tools. If we were a little bit more further ahead, we're not like Heath's example where we're creating a page from scratch, right? We can actually we can start to make our posts within our page. So the cool thing about that is like there's all these different third party social media management tools, right? And I'm a global Hootsuite ambassador where I'm a big proponent of using Hootsuite because it's just been around since the social media game started. But as time's gone on, Facebook now has it where you can build those posts in. You can actually make them, you can schedule them, you can draft them that now, but you could use like Creator Studio and get, some different types of creative assets. Um, Maybe if we were running some type of like branded content, you see that all the time with like Super Bowl, right? They'll do like some branded content with like Doritos or Pepsi, and you'll see the Pepsi post being like tagged. That's branded content when you do like co-branding. Lead ad forms is kind of a more advanced thing that we're not going to talk about in today's Facebook marketing plan, but that is something that you will want to do, right? As a business owner, you're trying to generate sales, leads, phone calls like that. You can go into your forms library. You can see your list of different forms that you've created. You can see if you've connected your leads to a CRM. Facebook integrates very nice with things such as like MailChimp, which is a very good email marketing automation tool. You can also use the big guys, Salesforce. I know a lot of salespeople use Salesforce. And then let's say you get a lead. The lead comes from Facebook. I don't have to go into my actual publishing tools and get my filled out leads, which would be in this section. I would actually get, right? I would get some leads that I could actually download them here. I could just integrate that into our CRM and not have to deal with that. So that's kind of everything that you would want to get in there. Page quality, you would just want to make sure, are you doing anything wrong with your page, right? Our page is good. We're not violating any standards. No profanity. We're not trolling, those things. We haven't had any, people try to block our page. So we're good. Last thing is just kind of going into your insights. So if you go into your insights of your page, let's say you have an existing page, good rule of thumb, but I always start with a Facebook marketing plan is I look at 28 days. Why is that? I want to see enough data. I don't know why Facebook, for some silly reason, wants this specific 28 days. I wish it was like Google. I could go see by month. I could see a specific range. For some reason, this is all they're going to give me. So, if you're doing like reporting, right, for any business, I think personally with Facebook, you should do reporting once a month. If you're doing it every week, it could make sense if you're a big brand, right? If you're Coca-Cola, Doritos, something like that, that makes sense because you get so much. But if you're a small business, you're just starting out, you're not really going to have that much data. Things are not going to change that much in a week. A month is a good enough sample size. And so you get all this granular information. So if you scroll down to our template, if I was filling this out, I would want to go in here and look, and I would want to say, okay, from our demographics, like, how many people are we reaching? So in, the last 28 days, and I might even put in here too, right? Like I would put last 28 days where we just started June. So this is the May Facebook Insights. And then I would go and I would fill this in and I would say, okay, we've reached, 8,647 people. So, okay, so how many people are reaching a month? I can go, I could see, how many new fans did we add? We only added, 5 people last month. So that's not very many. Maybe we need to start doing a page like campaign. That's what I'm seeing from that. Maybe I'm looking at, what's our videos look like? How much engagement are we getting? What are the trends? What, was there a spike? Why was there a spike on May 20th? Did we have a really good video? Did we do a boosted post? I can see some of our recent ad campaigns. If we ran some ads, right? We did some boosted posts. We did some post engagements. Nice thing about this section too is I can actually see all of our posts, right? So this is going to give me kind of like a more granular, and it'll say, hey, with this post, it reached this many people, it got this many clicks and this many reactions. And I can see what type of post it was, right? So I could see that this was just a status post versus this one was a photo post and this one was a video post. Was there any targeting? Did I share it with a specific audience? This is good when you're auditing your current content. So for Heath, That's not going to make sense. He's kind of doing this from scratch. But this is good information. You need to be looking at the data, and you need to decipher. You don't need to just write all this data down. So when we do a Facebook marketing plan at Global, we don't just write this data down and stop there. We look at the data, and from there we make actionable insights, right? So here's another thing we can look at, right? With our posts, what day are we getting the most engagement? So for Global, if I'm the Facebook marketing manager managing this, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, it looks like on Monday, oddly enough, is our best day. Why is that? Why are the most people checking our Facebook? I don't know. Maybe they're in the Monday slump. Maybe they're just not feeling it. They've got some downtime. I don't know. Then from there, I'm kind of looking like, what day, where is all this helping you in your Facebook marketing plan? If I'm a Facebook page manager and I look at this data, I should know that on Monday at around, 8 a.m. or around 11 p.m., those are my peaks. That's when my audience is most online for Facebook. So that's when I should be scheduling content. If you're scheduling content on Facebook and you're not scheduling it around the content when your audience is online, you're missing out on the best time for your post to be seen. You can also see by post type. You can see the top posts from the pages that you watch, which is another cool little feature, right? So if I'm creating a Facebook marketing plan from the beginning, you can see Global, we haven't done this. So maybe I want to be looking at one of our competitors or one of the top uh, marketing companies out there. So I would select HubSpot and I would say watch page, close this, and now see, I can see kind of how their page is progressing. This is really good information for competitors, right? Going in, for US health advisors, we might be looking at other type of healthcare insurance companies that we can look at. We might add in how many page likes or follows. We might try to understand, do we have a CSV file of our current customers? That's also a really good way because we can kind of run some ad campaigns. We might look at some other, pages that we can create some partnerships with. What type of health insurance related people could we find? And here's some creative ways, guys. Search health insurance. Boom, right there. We've got all this healthcare.gov. Perfect. Do it by pages, right? Look at all these different health insurance people we could do, and we could do some research, and we could click around, see what they're doing, what type of content, how many fans do they have. A lot of this, that's why you need to do a Facebook marketing plan to begin with. You need to understand, you need to take time to research, because that's the thing about social media is it's so customized. One approach is not going to work for the same brand, nor is it going to work for the same industry. So that's why you need to research. You see what people are doing. You can look at groups, you can look at different types of videos. There's a wealth of information. There's also this thing called Google. Maybe you guys have heard of it. It's the number one search engine and website in the world. And I could literally go to Google and I could say, best health insurance companies. It's going to give me a list. I spelt it wrong, but, so maybe I'm going into a list. I'm talking about, once I search this, right? Is it Madison Health Insurance? Is it, healthcare companies? Here's another creative approach, guys. I might search for Best Health Insurance Companies, or I might search for Best Health Insurance Books. Maybe for some reason there, right? It's giving me all these books now. I could do some research on that. Is there some content that I can use from those books? Is there something on Amazon that I can see? Is it credible? Is there an author that's very famous within the health insurance industry? Things like that. What makes a really good Facebook marketing plan is taking the time to do the initial research that you need to do and putting in the groundwork so that you can make this as robust as you possibly can. I think at a high level, we've pretty much covered most of everything that you would do in a basic Facebook marketing plan. Last two things I just want to kind of hit on here is that you can do a social media contest, right? Those are really good ways to build a new page, promote it, do a free giveaway. If you're Heath, do a free presentation, do a free health insurance quote, do a free phone call consultation, maybe does a free meal giveaway, something like that. Even restaurants, something simple as like 10% off, pizza, or like coupon or something like that. would be great. And then the other thing is you're going to want to do ads. So once you've gone through this, you've done your research, you've filled out your template, you're ready to go. There's a number of different types of ads that you can do. And I had this nice little presentation that it was passed along for me from one of our clients, that was pitched at a startup event here in Boulder, Colorado, just the other week. Look at all of these different ads that you guys can do on Facebook. We focus on the ones that are tied to business objectives, and that's something that I would put in your Facebook marketing plan too, right? What is your overall goal of social media, right? So maybe even at the top, that might be the first thing I do. What are our Facebook marketing goals? What are business goals? How do I tie those together? So I'm a business owner. I'm Heath. Right now, he wants to build his brand awareness. He wants to, create better relationships with his customers. A little typo there. He wants reviews, credibility. He wants to show his presentations. These are all early things that you should do in social media, and this is where you should start. And then once you get more advanced, then you're going to things such as lead generation. Getting leads, getting people that you can contact that fill out forms, and you're giving away a value offer. Maybe you're going to conversions after that, like actual sales, or you're getting emails subscribers. You're building a database that you can then retarget and market. We're going to do another video on a whole Facebook marketing strategy, but you could see with the Facebook marketing plan, right? You need to at least have some of these things, these objectives. Understand who your audience is that you're trying to reach, because that's super important. If you don't know who your audience is, you're not going to be matching up the type of content that they want. And then start to experiment with some ad types. I have this thing that I keep preaching this year. I know it's probably been said in every video. Start with an audience first. The analogy here to kind of close this video on that note is, if you build a house and no one came to your house in the woods of Colorado and no one saw it, what's the point of having the house? If you're going to have a house, you need to have people see it. It's the same concept on Facebook. If you're going to build a Facebook page, build an audience so people see the great content that you're making, and then start to build that relationship. Turn them in from a fan into a customer, into a super fan, so that then they're promoting your brand. The greatest brands on social media, their customers tell their story. Look at Coke, the whole Share a Coke campaign, genius, right? Coke got thousands of videos and images from consumers drinking Coke products because their fans love Coke so much, and they share their story of drinking their Coke products. That's something we called user-generated content. That's something that you should try to strive for later on with your Facebook marketing plan. How can I get user-generated content? This is going to be better for storytelling. This is going to be better for social proof. Get away from this business, buy my product, buy my service, and bring it back to the people. That's why social media was created, right? Conversations, connections, relationships. That's the point of social media. It's not to drive business in the beginning. In the beginning, it's build a community, create conversations, then go to the sales and the conversions and those things, and ultimately get brand ambassadors that support your company and they talk about you online. So I hope that this has been super informative for you guys. I also hope that my social media team watches this video and understands the right process on how to do a Facebook marketing plan. And I would welcome anyone out there to give me any feedback on this video. One kind of final thing I was going to kind of bring up is there's this cool little infographic. I spent some time early on in my career when I was living in Spain with a company called socialmediaonlineclasses.com. Check them out if you haven't. Shout out to Maria Piegler if you watch this video. Thanks for teaching me so much at a young age about social media. She's got this great infographic that kind of goes into some different things that you can do, right? Facebook events are huge, contests, sharing, fans. There are so many things that you can do on Facebook in 2019. It's ridiculous. There's honestly too much to do, but a good Facebook marketing plan stems from understanding your audience, doing the research, and then having a budget and goals that you can tie through ads to ultimately drive your business objectives. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, all that jazz. I hope you enjoyed the video, and take care.